favorite segment of the week, the tough guy segment. From shooting bad guys to skydiving over Mount Everest, cowboy boot wearing, whiskey drinking, hard men like my next guest, who still finds time to fit between all this mess and give back to the community that he came from. Joining us, Mike Sarraille, retired Navy SEAL and the founder of CEO of Talent War Group. Mike, appreciate you being back on with me.
Dude, Carl, thanks for having me, brother. And I apologize up front. I'm still trying to recover from that last segment.
You and me both, buddy. So we got to talk about this. Similar vein, a woman who quit the Air Force Commando course was highly suspicious. She was allowed back in the course after quitting. And we've seen this before where there's concern. Like, I have no problem with women in any role if they can meet the same standards. I think we can agree on that. But when you change the standards, you devalue the force. What is your take on the fact that she even authored something and said, hey guys, this is dangerous?
So let me take this in two phases. One, for Captain Morgan Mosby, who you're referring to. Mm-hmm. First off, if she was here right now, I would give her applause. It's actually absolutely the definition of tough what she did. She's trying to break into a male-dominated profession. She even had the guts to try, and she made it through a good portion of the training. I'd also thank her for serving our country and defending my family right now by holding the line. What this really comes down to, and you just alluded to it, is standards. And I'll tell you, war is brutal. And our enemies don't care about diversity and inclusion. They just care about decimating us. And at war, all you're left with is standards. Mm-hmm. Now, this is Washington, D.C., and certain elements of Washington, D.C. trying to re-engage in social re-engineering of our military, which has no place whatsoever. Yep. You just said it. We've served with exceptional sisters in arms who, quite frankly, because of them, we wouldn't have been successful doing what you and I did in the SEAL teams. They are a valued member. Women are a valued members right. Of our armed forces. Nobody's debating that. Right. But when Washington, D.C. starts reaching in and imposing this type of stuff on the military, they mess with the readiness, they mess with the morale, and they mess with the lethality of our military. And at the end of the day, the military is designed to defeat our enemies, to kill our enemies, and break their stuff if need be.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And we saw this, Mike. Well, I remember a while back, I forget, maybe it was like 10 years ago or something, they lowered the standard in BUDS, okay? So you got more people out of BUDS. But then when they got to the SEAL team, they still have to complete the same rigorous training at the SEAL team, and they were getting booted from there. So the same number of folks hit the battlefield as long as we maintain the same standards in the platoons. Every time, though, they do this, they constantly devalue the force. And recently, they're like, hey, for force readiness, you have to get vaccinated. If you don't, you're gone. That affects force readiness. Have somebody down 4 or 5 days with COVID or kick them out completely, it just seems dumb to me. I want to get to your recent adventure. You skydived over Everest back in October. Talk to us about that and the mission that you got with it.
So, I retired in 2018 and, stepped away from a lot of the activities we do in the SEAL teams, like skydiving, and diving itself, going into the mountains. And I also had a hip replacement. So I felt like I was getting stagnant. And a good buddy of mine, Fred Williams, who's the owner of Complete Parachute Solutions, was putting together an expedition team to go jump into the Mount Everest region, into the highest drop zones in the world. And I needed this for myself. I needed to push myself outside my mental and physical comfort zone in order to grow. Yeah. And quite frankly, it was one of the most spiritual trips I've taken. And Carl, you'll love this one. There was exceptional men and women on this trip. A lot of guys from the Army Special Operations community who I didn't know prior to the trip. And the greatest part of the trip were those bonds that we form in hardship. Yeah. And actually, I'm meeting them in Arizona on Monday to go skydiving again. So that's a testament to hard training and the bonds built during hardship.
Yeah. So talk about this. You're raising $500 for families of $500,000 for families of fallen soldiers. Talk to us a little bit about that and where people can go to donate.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm an ambassador for the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, which is dear to my heart. Their charter is to pay for the education of the kids of our fallen Special Operations heroes. They're very deserving of that money. So if you go to specialops.org, you can donate to that cause. And let me tell you, even though these families may get a $400,000 check, If there's a now single mother of 3 children, that 400,000 doesn't go very far. So for those that are fortunate enough to return to war, we've got to take care of those families, and we've got to take care of their kids. That's our charter to our fallen.
Mike Sarraille, true tough guy, patriot. Appreciate you doing what you're doing, sir.
Hey, thanks, Carl.
All right. Stay right there, folks. The second